So, my name's Jay Combs, and I am here to debunk the myth, the questions, the comments on can I build a successful real estate career on making phone calls? Well, I'm here to tell you that if you want to be successful in real estate and you aren't married to the governor, or you own a family business been around for 60 years, or you have a massive database of people that you know that like, trust, and want to do business with you, you're going to have to pick up the phone. So the cool thing about it is that it doesn't take a tremendous amount of phone calls to get one deal. In fact, I want to talk about some common myths that what we find with real estate agents. And so the first one is the agents feel, their feelings. Agents feel that it's a daunting task. I got to make my phone calls. Why do you think that every team leader in the entire country wants their agents to make phone calls? Do you think that they do that because they want to go out and come down with an iron fist? No, it's because it's what made them successful. Success leaves clues, guys. And I mean all of the successful real estate teams have made outbound calls to their prospective clients, right? Today in 2021, there's no one in the world, guys, to go and pick up the phone. They Google an office saying, "Hey, I want you to come out and list or help me buy a house." That doesn't happen. And so if you're in this business thinking that people are going to call you, it simply doesn't happen. Or if it does, it's very rare, right? Very rarely do we get come list me calls. What happens is you may have a phenomenal marketing plan. However, the people will go and listen to you on radio, see you on Facebook, and they'll Google your name or look at your Facebook page. And then they're going to go out and submit an inquiry online, right? So the reality is all these team leaders that are telling you to go make phone calls, they're not doing it because it's a task that they're trying to check off a box. They're doing it because that's exactly what they did to become successful to start with, right? For me, when I first started, I was super mad. I was super frustrated with the business. And I was told, listen, you're going to have to make outbound calls to go out and figure it out. No one told me about ratios. No one told me about anything of that. I had to figure that out on my own. Well, I just pulled up some stats. My team has made somewhere to the tune of about 70,000 calls this year. I think it was like 68,000 phone calls that we've made. And we're at 330 transactions. So that equates to every 200 calls that one of my agents makes, they are going to get a closed transactions. Now, guys, that's brand new agents and that's very seasoned agents. That's a collective hybrid. It would never have taken me 200 phone calls to get that because I was super intentional about making calls. And it may take someone 350 calls to go out and get one transaction. But the reality is, guys, when you start thinking of calls as not a problem and you start thinking them as the solution, then you're like, hey, per every 200 calls, I know that I have a $5,000 paycheck coming to me. Our team's average is $5,111 net take home to the agent, even after their 50-50 split. And so my agents know that exactly to our team, it's 208. When they make 208 phone calls, they're going to make around 5,000. So that equates down to $25 per phone call that they make. Now, do you know any place in this planet that will go out and pay you $25 per call that you make? Probably not, guys. That's the opportunity that you have every single day when your team leader is telling you to go out and make calls. They're not doing that to talk down to you. They're not doing that to force you. They just know exactly what works, right? Another common myth is that there's certain times that people will pick up. Although that has some truth to it, but the reality is, guys, if you make those calls, it's about your intentionality. Yes, I always call it first thing in the morning. Some people like to call later in the afternoon, right? Just whatever your time is, pick that time and stay consistent to that. And then you can ultimately identify the time that works best. I chose from 9 to 11 religiously. However, I was super dedicated. I would go out and make calls until I set an appointment, no matter what, non-negotiables. So some tips that will help you be more successful when you're actually making these calls. First thing first is intentionality. Know that every phone call that you make is not a box checking off the list. You are trying to be intentional. Begin with the end in mind, meaning know in your head per every phone call that you make that could be your very next client. And when you do that, you go out and can set a scenario of where you will get a commission. Right now, it's just, for me, it's like I used to think per every call, and I think my ratio was $35 per call that I made because I had a better ratio. But I started doing that and I started thinking differently. I was like, all right, if I want to go out and sell 25 homes this year, I need to make X amount of calls. Well, that would equate to about 5,000 calls for me if I wanted to do that per the 200 math, right? Another thing is make sure that you time block your scheduling. So many people will go out and put all the different things in their place that will ultimately slow them down from being successful. They'll be distracted and they get half as much done. Be intentional with that time. Be laser focused. Knock it out. You know what I mean? Go out and set your appointments. If you have a certain appointment goal, go out and crush those, because sometimes you'll have bad days and sometimes you'll have good days, right? So if you crush 4 appointments in 10 minutes, boom, you're done for the day. Or you can double down and set more appointments for the days that you may have bad days, right? Have a script. Third thing is have a script. Guys, the biggest thing that I see with my agents, even my agents which are trained, is they'll go and try to create their own script. Stick to a script. And the reason being for that is that the intentionality, the hook, the grabbing them. Scripts are a way to be able to navigate a conversation. And so when you're having a conversation, you're trying to think of what to say, guys, it makes you sound salesy. It makes you sound like a salesperson. No one wants to be sold. You need to have the mindset of coming here to help you, right? And I am going to be the solution that helps you to your problem, because everyone that's going online has a problem. And so when you go into the mindset of, I'm coming into this situation to be the solution for these people, I'm coming to help them, you're going to be significantly more able to close those deals than the others. I hope that helps. Guys, stop butting heads with your team leader and know that the goal, the reason that they're telling you to make your calls is to help you close more deals. It is a statistical fact, guys, that you'll have a better real estate career the more calls that you make, because you'll be able to have more conversations, right? The people who fail the most on my team are the ones who make the least amount of phone calls. And it's not a situation of they're not good agents or anything like that. Maybe they have call reluctance. There's things that you can overcome to get better. But if you will do that and you have the mindset of, hey, every single time I make 200 calls, I get a $5,000 check. Whatever your conversion ratios, get with your team leader. I'm sure they can go out and share that with you. For my team, per every 200, which is not a lot, guys. That's one week's worth of calls. 50 calls a day, that's 250 a week, right? So out of 1,000 phone calls, that's 5 pending sales per agent per month, right? As long as they're maintaining that. So hope that helps, guys. Make your freaking phone calls. Make your career great.